Guys, in this video we're going to talk about properties. Properties are nice because they allow us to have a simplified way of accessing private information, but in a way that is controlled. So click on Visual Studio and let's type here using system. Okay, and now namespace, sample space. Alright, and now within this we are going to place a simple class called person. We'll throw in some fields to define that person. So we're going to say class person, and now we are going to declare private string name like this, and say private string SSN like that. Okay, there you go. So we have two fields. They're both private. We need a safe way of accessing them. It's recommended in general to make access to private fields controlled. So we're going to code properties. The properties take the following form. We're going to type public string and then give the name of the property. So in our case it will be social like that. And within the body you're going to define a get like this and a set. Okay, so these are the two features of a property, a get and a set. Alright, so in our case, let me delete this code below. There you go. So get means return this.ssn. There you go. So this will return the social number of the person. And the set, to use that feature, that property, you type this particular language that says this.ssn equals, and then the keyword is value, like that. Okay. There you go. So public string social is a property. That means when you access it, you can type the name of an object and then dot and then the name of the property, and either read or write that property using the get or the set. Okay, let's do one more. Let me delete this. Do a full name as a property also. So public string full name. I'll call that a property. There you go. And properties are very popular in like graphics programming, like a button, color, width, background color, font, size, position, all of those. Alright, so for this property we're going to say now get, and we'll say return this.name. There you go. Remember, this means the current object, and then set. And now here you can say this.name equals, and then you'll type the keyword value like that. Okay. There you go. So that's the getter and the setter for the property. The next stage, okay, that's class person. Now let's go to client class program here. Okay, static void main, void, not void. Alright, now we're going to make use of these properties as follows. Person, per, equals new person. And to set the properties, you type the name of the object, dot, and then the property itself that's exposed. And notice next to properties, you see little wrenches, you see? That's how you know it's a property. See that? There's a little wrench next to it. So full name, and then we'll set this here to say John Smith, close out the semicolon, and then PR dot. The next property to be get is a social. Okay, so set that equal to, and now make up a string, some string, it doesn't really matter. Like that, close out the semicolon. And now, this is how you write these properties. To read them, you do the same thing. So now we're going to say console.writeLine, and pr.full name, and then here plus, we're concatenating. It has the SS number given by, and then plus, and then PR dot social, and close that with a semicolon. See, that's how you read these properties. And now console dot read key example, simple enough. Let's delete this. Let's give it all a build now. Okay, so debug. Let's go through it one time. Start without debugging. It says John Smith has the SSN given by that number that I made it up. Perfect. Simple enough. And now debug in step into. If you go through that, it's relatively easy. It's very sequential. Give it a sec to kick in. There you go. So make a new person. Reserve memory on the right side. Set the full name property. As you can see, the setter is being called. Okay, set the social. As you can see, the setter is being called. I then come in here. Now this time, it's smart enough to call the getter for the full name, and then it calls get for the social, displays them, and then it waits for user input. Alright, there you go. So that's sufficient for our purposes. And that's it. So you've just learned about properties, and remember the reason for having them is these fields are private. You don't want to code up complex functions to access these quantities, although you could through functions also. So you have properties instead, and properties are nice. As you can see, just use the dot notation, the syntax, to access them, both for reading and for writing. Okay, so they work the same way. And as you can see, the system is smart enough to know when to call get and when to call set. And that is it. And remember, here within the setters, there's a keyword called value. As you can see, it's blue, so that's the same always. Thanks very much, and I will see you in another video.